Scientists' proven method: how to stop aging and extend life. The most common cause of human pain is aging. It may seem counterintuitive, but when you think about it, all of the world's major killers, from cancer to heart disease to dementia, hit older people significantly more frequently than younger people. Rather than addressing these issues one by one, why not go after the true prize, the aging process that produces them? So let us look through some scientifically proven methods to stop aging and extend life. Dietary limitations. Aging looked unavoidable for tens of thousands of years throughout human history. Experiments on rats in the 1930s, however, disproved this assumption. Scientists Clive McKay discovered that rats feed far less than typical might survive much longer than their non-rationed counterparts, and more importantly, they weren't extending their time as rat geriatrics by staying young for longer, delaying sickness and frailty associated with old age. Researchers are developing dietary restriction mimetic medications, such as rapamycin or metformin, that could imitate the effects of eating less but without the chronic hunger sensations. Negligible senescence. Growing old may appear to be a given. At first look, it seems to be a progressive process of wear and tear, which is unavoidable for both human-made equipment and living beings' biological machinery. However, looking around the animal kingdom, we can observe that aging is not a biological requirement. Every 8 years, the risk of death for people doubles. Some creatures, however, have negligible senescence, which is the scientific name for aging. Some tortoises, salamanders, fish, and a few other creatures have a death risk that is independent of their age. They do not age under this definition. Evolution can equip organisms with mechanisms to repair damaged cells and molecules, and get rid of and replace the unfixable, given the right incentives. There's no reason to believe that science won't make it possible for humans as well. Age-related characteristics. In theory, dietary restriction and negligible senescence suggest reducing or even stopping aging. But how can we achieve it in practice? Here come the signs of aging. This paradigm, first suggested in 2013, outlined the scientific basis of the aging process, including the causes of anything from wrinkles to cancer. A framework may not appear to be revolutionary, but it is. After decades of theories and counter-theories, scientists have finally reached a consensus on what causes aging. This means that if we can learn to slow, stop, or reverse these hallmarks, we can also slow, stop, or reverse the aging process as a whole. Telomerase. Our DNA is divided into 46 lengths called chromosomes inside our cells. A telomere is a protective area found at the ends of each of these chromosomes. Telomeres shorten throughout time, and those with shorter telomeres for their age are more likely to develop age-related diseases and die younger than those with longer ones. Fortunately, an enzyme called telomerase may lengthen your telomeres. However, recent research has shown that momentarily turning on telomerase can boost telomere length. Mice given this medication live longer, have more bone density, and better blood sugar management. Refreshing the thymus. The thymus is a tiny organ located just beneath your breastbone and in front of your heart that produces immune cells. Thymus loss is one of the reasons humans become more susceptible to infection as we age. The good news is that we have a variety of options for reversing thymus loss, ranging from gene treatments and stem cells to hormones and medicines. In one study, a hormonal approach to thymic renewal increased not just the size of the thymus, but also the quantity of new immune cells. Pluripotent stem cells induced. Induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs for short, offer exceptional promise in the field of aging biology, and they might make a top 10 list in many sectors of medicine. These cells are created by taking normal body cells and using a cocktail of 4 different genes to turn them into any kind of cell researchers can imagine, or hopefully any kind of cell a doctor needs to replenish cells lost due to accident, injury, or the aging process in the not too distant future. Turning iPSCs into new eye cells to replace those lost in age-related macular degeneration is probably the most advanced discovery. Epigenetic clocks. Epigenetics refers to a collection of chemical markers attached to our DNA. This is a trendy study issue that's been studied for decades, but scientists were surprised to see that observing higher epigenetics change might give us remarkably precise estimates of your age. Based on this concept, the first epigenetic clock could accurately forecast someone's age within a few years. Furthermore, suppose your epigenetic age is greater than your chronological age. In that case, you should expect to become ill and die sooner than someone whose epigenetic age is less than the number of candles on their birthday cake. We could do a before and after epigenetic age measurements a few months later, instead of giving trial participants a new treatment and sending them away for a decade to see how many of them die, which takes a long time and is very expensive. This would make testing these novel medicines considerably faster and less expensive, which, with so many potential treatments to evaluate, would significantly speed up our process against the aging process. Senolytic drugs. Senolytic medications, which kill aged senescent cells, are probably the most intriguing advance in aging biology. We all have these cells at some point. Cells that have divided too many times, have unacceptable amounts of DNA damage, or are under too much stress. As a result, these cells cease dividing to be safe. Unfortunately, these cells don't just sit there without dividing. They release chemicals that work together to speed up the aging process. In mice, scientists have discovered a number of medicines and other treatments that eliminate these misdirected cells. And if the trials indicate that these treatments are safe and successful, it may not be long before we're all taking senolytic drugs to get rid of these cells before they cause issues. With these advanced methods, we can practically stop the process of aging.